Brandon Donlon. Why should people listen to this episode of Pod Friends featuring you?
I show my ass. Proverbially, not literally. There's no ass showing, but I talk about a lot of things that I've always wanted to talk about, but I haven't necessarily had the venue to do so. So I'm thrilled that you would join us on this episode of Pod Friends.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pod Friends. I'm your host, Matt Scott, here for another season of Pod Friends, where we have conversations with incredible people in the RHAP has a podcast and reality TV community. All about them, all about their stories. And as you've already seen, this week's guest is none other than Brandon Donlon. And before I get into that, well, I just want to share a bit of a video message for Brandon, for all of you to listen into, from the one, the only, Dee Valladares, winner of Survivor 45 and cast member for Survivor 50.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Brandon, I love you with my entire heart. You're one of my best friends in the world. And I've been thinking a lot about what you mean to me, and not just to myself, I guess just the world in general and the people who surround you. You're one of the kindest, sweetest, funniest people that I know. Actually, you are. Not that one of them, you are. And I hope one day you come to terms with the fact that the world sees you in such a positive light. And I hope that this birthday phase is one where you understand that all the blessings are coming your way for a reason. And I have a feeling big blessings are coming your way this year. And I'm always going to be in your corner, supporting you, hyping you up. Even if you start an OnlyFans page, okay? I'm still going to support you no matter what. But I love you with my entire heart. Chanel loves you too.
Thank you so much, Dee. And to echo your words, happy birthday, Brandon. So thrilled for you. And I hope everyone is sending you birthday wishes and birthday love on June 2nd. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this episode of Pod Friends. Over the last month, especially between it being my birthday and being at RHAP NYC, between the launch of Rob's best-selling book, New York Times best-selling book, The Tribe and I Have Spoken, between just spending time and connecting with so many of you, I have felt so much love, and I am really honored through Pod Friends to show that love to so many others, beginning with Brandon this season. And luckily, I'm not alone in doing that, because there are so many voicemails and videos that I've received from this community showing love to Brandon. Before we get to the conversation with Brandon, let's just tune into a few of those voicemails from none other than Scott, Laura J., and the one and only Demi Burnett.
Hey, it's Scott from Omaha. I'm so excited to hear from Matt Scott on another season of Pod Friends. Matt, you do such an amazing job at nurturing the parasocial relationships that I've come to love from RHAP. I'm very proud to say that I got to turn one of those parasocial relationships into a friendship when I actually met Brandon at the Toronto live event. Brandon has such an amazing charm and passion for Survivor and the whole RHAP community that's really only rivaled by Rob. Brandon, you are my muse, and I look forward to everything that you both accomplish in the future. Thank you.
Hey there, it's Laura J. I'm so excited that there's a new season of Pod Friends coming and that Brandon Donlon is going to be featured. Brandon, you are one of my favorite people. I always enjoy getting to see you at the different events and seeing you on the podcast. You crack me up. You're very funny. in such a unique way, which now that sounds like a backhanded compliment, but trust me, it is not. You're genuinely one of the best. And if I had a Coke Zero, I would raise it to you. I cannot wait to hear more of your story because I know you've been part of this community for a really long time, well before you played and well before you became a Rob Has a Podcast employee. So I want to know more. And I can't wait to see this episode and to see the rest of the season of Pod Friends. So thanks, guys.
Brandon is my bestie. He is brilliant. He's so funny. I think that he's going to do amazing things in this world. He's going to be so incredibly successful because people are starting to find out about Brandon and how brilliant he is. And I'm so excited for him. He's more than just what his writing can do, though. He is such an amazing friend to have. I've never had a friend like Brandon, like someone who I can really, truly be myself around. And he's just so safe, someone you can really feel safe around. I just think he's the best. I can't say enough good things about the guy. I love him.
Thank you so much, Scott, Laura, and Demi, for your love to Brandon. And there's so much love that you'll hear for Brandon throughout this episode. Brandon's definitely someone who deserves that love. And I'm thrilled to be part of providing that to him. He's someone who I admire for his creativity, his wit, but also, as you'll hear in this conversation, for his vulnerability, his realness, his openness. And it's something that makes space for all of us, just like many of these Pod Friends conversations do. Brandon's ability to be real, raw, and inspiring inspires so many of us to be the same. One thing I want to say as we go along is that I hope that you're subscribed to Pod Friends. And sure, leave 5 stars, leave a review. All that stuff means the world. Any of your positive comments mean the world below this episode on YouTube as well. Pod Friends is all about celebrating folks in this community, and I'm really excited to hear your thoughts and feedback as you hear from folks this season in the coming episodes. But before I get to my ring announcer style intro for the one and only Brandon Donlon, I want you to hear from a couple folks, Jen Gonzalez and season 45's own Kellie Nalbandian, about why and how Brandon Donlon is their muse. Check it out.
This is Jen Gonzalez, or Bros in the Discord. I recently went to my first RHAP live event in New York. At the beginning of the patron meetup, I was just kind of standing there awkwardly, and Brandon came up to introduce himself. He made me feel instantly comfortable, and I noticed throughout the events how much time he spent with various patrons and making everyone feel included, which is awesome. When Rob went to Scotland, Brandon did an amazing job filling in for him. He makes connections with people and remembers things about them the way that Rob does, which is a really rare talent. I am sick, so I could not get on video, but Matt, I will send you a picture of a shirt I made after the New York event where I was inspired by my muse. Bye.
Brandon Donlon is my muse. There's quite literally nobody on earth who it is easier to make a appreciation video for, because this is the best friend, person, confidant, dependable guy I've ever met. Definitely the best straight male friend I ever had, and probably one of the best friends I ever had in my life. And I am extremely lucky to know him and call him one of my favorite people on earth. I don't need to sit here and blabber on about how funny he is, because we all know that. I knew that me and Brandon were going to be friends from our first FaceTime conversation, which was right after the island. We got back, and he immediately helped me come up with the idea and plan an entire vacation for our entire cast up in my family's house in Cape Cod. And I barely knew him, and we were already on the phone for hours and hours. You and Dee, our little squad, is the single best thing that's come out of Survivor for me. I'm so grateful for you, and happy birthday. I love you to death. From me and Gab.
Thank you so much, Jen and Kellie, for those thoughts on Brandon. I love those messages. I love hearing from all of you. But now it is time to hear from the one and only Brandon Donlon. Making his way to the podcast, hailing from Sicklerville, New Jersey, he is a Survivor superfan who turned his dream into reality on Survivor 45. He's the creative lead at RHAP as a podcast, the man responsible for helping turn reality TV chaos into internet gold, a lover of antiquing, a hater of tabletop games, and a firm believer that if you're going to text someone, you should lead with your request. Please welcome the empathetic, inquisitive, relatable, the one, the only, Brandon Donlon. Brandon, I used to really go in with like I'm so nervous, and I did feel nervous, and I don't feel nervous anymore. It's weird.
About doing these?
Yes, about doing these. Why would?
But is it specific nerves, or is it just
like
the
general
nerves?
Sure. I feel like you could relate to like the general nerves probably, but like the general nerves. It was like the anticipation of it. You're like, how do I get into it? What do I talk about? Going into it without with the right topic, you know?
Yeah. So. I think I felt that when I started to do podcasting. Because like if you watched Skall on the morning show, it's like she's just going for it. You know what I mean? And if it's bad, she's like, I don't care. I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
No, she thinks it's great, I think. Yeah. I'm assuming.
She she really gives me a lot of confidence in my ability. Not that she's not great. She's phenomenal, but she just doesn't care. Like she'll flub a line and then just move on. She's been doing it for X amount of years and she'll do it for X amount more. So it's like, nobody's going to fire me because I messed the line up or I was kind of a dud on this podcast.
When you're Oprah's best friend, you're not getting fired from anything.
It's true.
Or maybe you will. True. I don't know. I'd like to find out.
Some of Oprah's friends, I think, are in a pretty bad spot at the moment.
I mean, like Dr. Phil's fine.
Dr. Phil is I think
Iyanla. I think Iyanla's still fixing people's lives.
Yeah.
There's other people. I don't know.
She's got a wide. Her web connects us all. That's what they say about Oprah. She's got a wide.
Oh, she connects us.
She connects us.
We're actually like 2 degrees of separation, and Oprah's the 1 degree between us.
Is this not her book club? I thought you were inviting me to her book club.
No, this is the I was gonna say the O show. This is the O show.
She's got her own channel, Oprah. She's got the O network.
I can't keep up if she still has her own channel or not. So, look, I'm pumped. Hold on, I feel like I need to adjust myself.
Put that in. Keep all the Oprah stuff in.
Oh, it needs to be Skall mostly. I'm gonna have to edit out Oprah for copyright reasons. Oprah sent me a cease and desist. I'm not allowed to talk about her anymore.
The C&D from OW.
The C&D from OW. Do you know Oprah's middle name, by the way?
I don't. Do you?
No, I don't care. I just figured you know a lot of stuff.
Actually, her husband's name is Stedman. Her partner's name is Stedman. And I feel like forever, we all talked about Stedman, and now Stedman never comes up.
I don't think we're supposed to talk about that.
Oh, is that bad? Did Stedman do bad stuff?
Certain things we don't talk about on RHAP, and one of them is what happened to Stedman. I would love to know, but I don't think Oprah wants us to talk about him. He's probably fine.
Yeah, I think they're still together.
I mean, they could be together. I don't know if he's breathing, but anyway, that's for a true crime podcast some other time. But Brandon, actually, I need to know when we scheduled this.
Yeah,
you not only were Brandon Donlon, you're Brandon S. Donlon.
Sure.
Is this your new branding? Brandon branding?
My middle name is
Scott.
And this is breaking news. It's your last name.
What?
So
no, I don't think that's. Are you sure I didn't know that?
I am Brandon Matt Scott Donlon, kind of. I think that we've maybe talked about it.
I was worried Derek was trying to take my job. I really have worried a lot that Derek would take my job. Shout out to Derek Stasinski. But it's you this whole time. All you need to do is just pull me out. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this for you. You could have my spot on Pod Friends.
I've never, and this is something that Rob has said before. Of
I love your marker, by the way.
This is I'm teaching a class. He has noticed when people are on one side versus the other. I've never noticed that in a podcast I've done. Never once. I don't know who's on which side.
I feel really anxious right now being on the wrong side. I have to switch you
put
back.
me back. I should be over here.
Yeah. Guest energy.
It's the guest spot.
Yeah, really, though. You could host Pod Friends, if we're being honest. You could host anything.
I'm not like I don't want to be the Ryan Seacrest if I take everybody's hosting gig. You know
Am I the Ryan Dunkelman?
You would be unfortunately, I didn't Brian Dunkelman.
Oh.
You would be the Brian Dunkelman.
I did that just to see if you'd catch it.
And
yeah,
you grow up and you're
Scott.
like, where did Brian Dunkelman go? But they just fired him. They didn't want him anymore.
I don't want to know where he is either. Stedman, Brian Dunkelman.
This is why I have the marker to make a list.
Missing people. Just take note on who we're mentioning, and then we'll pull out the red string and connect the dots later.
Sure.
This is, but maybe we are the same person at the end of the day. I always thought we were different people, but your name is Brandon Matt Scott Donlon.
Yeah.
You're from New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey.
Sure.
You've spent time in Philly. I've spent time in Philly. We're both here on RHAP. I don't know what to make of that. I really don't.
And people often at these events that we go to, they come up to one of us and think we're the other one.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen to me with a lot of people.
They love me on Survivor 50 Files.
They did. They loved you there. They didn't like you the first time they saw you, but you really did good PR work when you did that podcast.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Wait, we're gonna get into like life and things, Brandon. Sure. Like, I feel like the people who are listening to this are either people who, the RHAP faithful. Some of them are traitors, but mostly faithful. And they love you. Like, where's Brandon? Bring Brandon on Pod Friends. Like, you're here. Brandon, believe it or not, I think this is the season premiere for Pod Friends. Like,
wow.
big
no.
billing.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes.
Has to be. I think it has to be.
I mean,
I can always edit that out too.
Don't edit it out and then like an hour later, you're like, we can make this episode 5 or 6 or something. I'd be honest.
Yeah. Look, wow. But here's my question for you, really. How are you going to make sure that it's worthy of a season premiere? You are the creative lead behind the scenes at RHAP. Of course, people know you for your work on the program, Survivor 45.
I did do the program. I now work with several programs on this podcast network.
Yeah.
And I've often been part of a season premiere. Seldom have I made it a ton further, but I'd love to start at episode 1.
You're not making it past episode 1 of this season. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think you'll be brought back if I do a good job. That's not this.
You could be brought back if you do a great job.
Sure.
Shannon Gus got brought back, and she did a great job.
Now, did Shannon Gus have an evolution to her life, or she just had more stuff to say?
Yeah, she was pregnant, and her husband was with her the second time.
Sure. She's the first returning player of Pod Friends.
She also did rap. She rapped on the first time, and then rapped twice the second time. There's even a little singing.
Now, I don't have to do that here.
What are you going to do to earn your spot? We're here on the other side of Survivor 50.
Sure.
Obviously, there are people who were your coworkers on Survivor 45. Emily Flippin, financial analyst Emily Flippin. Dee, the one and only winner of it all. Should have been you. But how are you going to earn your spot on Pod Friends 50?
I think
season 50.
I'm going to be, and this is what gets you in the new era. You have to be vulnerable at the right time.
Yeah.
You have to be quiet for a little bit, and you have to know when your moment is to make a big move happen. So who knows what the big move? Like we're early. We haven't even gotten to the part where I would make the move. So now I just have to be quiet. You're right.
No, don't. That's not going to work. Look, I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
We're gonna edit this part out, Brandon. You need to fucking show up and go big. Where you need to be like Rob Sester, going so fucking hard here on Pod Friends.
Sure.
The people,
I'm ready.
They're rooting for you. What are you locked? What are you doing? You know what? I'm replacing. You're getting into the host spot.
Yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Don't put me here.
Yes.
I'm really excited to be talking about my favorite subject, which is me and all the things about me. And seldom do I get on a podcast, and I'm always like, what do you think? That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you do? What do you want to talk about? But this is like my birthday. This is like, there's no other conversation that's happening than the one about, I'm kidding. I really hate to talk about myself, which is why I was hesitant to do this for very long. But now we're here, so we're just going with it.
Yeah. Look, I appreciate you being here. That's the thing one of the things I really admire about you is that people love you. They adore you through the ups and the downs.
Sure.
I'm not going to make a ladder joke.
Okay.
There's
and
something
often
there,
people
though.
do.
They do. Do they really still make ladder jokes?
Oh yeah. But that's like at this point.
That was like 3 years ago for you, right?
But I haven't done anything. Yeah, like, that's what people saw, and it makes sense.
I have not rewatched it, by the way. I will say, and I won't.
No, neither have I, and I don't think I ever will. I think I'm out.
Did you see it in the moment, like in the theater in New York? Because I remember that night of like 900 people, theater in New York. We're watching the episode live. I mean, what, like, did you look away? Did you close your eyes?
Well, that was the latter, the incident,
yes.
big thing.
That wasn't that day.
In the first episode, which I was at a bar with all my friends in Philly, friends and family.
Yeah.
And like 10 minutes before the episode, I kind of got on like a little, it wasn't a soapbox. It was a metaphorical soapbox, less a physical one. But I stood higher than everybody else. And I said, listen, there's something that's about to happen. It's not going to be fun for any of us. But like and I was like, you'll see what I mean. But like once it's done, just cheer. Just indulge me in cheer. And then that's what everybody did. And everybody was very nice. But I did give a 10-minute warning of like this first couple minutes is not going to be fun. But then it was a fun rest of the night.
Thank you so much, Brandon. And to come in with a bit of an interruption here, I'm here to share a few more loving voice messages or video messages for you. So let's hear from Betsy, from Michael Horn, and from Mike Skall about what you, Brandon Donlon, mean to them.
My name is Betsy Borst, and I first met Brandon through gossiping on TikTok about Survivor players because nothing bonds people quite like gossip. Since then, as a new patron, I have sent him the most random thoughts and questions I have about RHAP. And not only does he always answer, but he does so with his classic sense of humor. When I attended my first live shows this year, he was so friendly and instantly made me feel like we had known each other forever. I know I'm not the only person who feels this way because he works tirelessly to make everyone feel welcome. Whenever his name comes up in conversation, all anyone can say is how kind and funny he is. He brings such a great energy to everything he does for RHAP, and we are all so lucky that he is part of this community.
Hey, Brandon, I will never pass up an opportunity to tell you how much I appreciate you. You are the person I know I can always come to with the most obscure American Idol or Dancing with the Stars reference. You are such a funny, kind, and caring person who I am so lucky to call a friend. You add so much light to the RHAP universe. So thank you for everything you do, and I'll talk to you soon.
Hi, Brandon. Mike Skall here, and I just want to congratulate you on opening up the next season of Pod Friends. Well-deserved honor. I've enjoyed everything you've done for me and the community the past few years. All your ideas, all your podcast appearances, your enthusiasm, your energy, everything has just been incredible. But perhaps, personally, the greatest thing for me was the Tuesday night of the patron meetup in New York when I was waiting outside. You come right up to me. You knew exactly who I was, and you started chatting with me like we've known each other for years. And that was something that I really appreciated. So all the best. Continue to look forward to seeing and hearing great things from you, and hope to catch up with you in the future. Thanks.
And now back to our conversation with Brandon Donlon. Well, it's so interesting to me. Like, you've had this massive experience. You had Survivor as a huge part of your life, obviously, before being on Survivor. You know, there was the show, the program. Then there was the program, as some would say. Then there's everything since then. So we'll get to everything since then. But like, yeah, it's so weird to me. Like thinking that it was three years ago. Do you remember the date that your season started recording? Did you
We
even know the
filmed
date at the time?
day 1 was April 17th.
Okay.
And then I was out on day 5, a long weekend, which was April 21st.
Where does that 5 days kind of sit in your memory at this point? Because it was like not recent. So what is that like for you?
It's interesting, right? Because it's like, and I'm not likening to Survivor for many is not like a car accident. But if you're in like a car accident and then you're in the hospital for 3-4 days, and that was X amount of years ago, you do like, because of the trauma that comes with that, you remember it. The same way that you would remember your wedding, I imagine, a couple of days after. And you can remember the small parts of it, as well as the things that you've now seen in pictures. You know, you conflate what is real and what am I just seeing in a still image, and then putting the memory I have right now into what that was. But I think about my thing a lot. I think about my thing more now than I think I had in the past couple of years. And I think the timeline of it's fall of 2023. I'm on Survivor. It doesn't go great, but I think I can distract myself with all of what's going on, and I'm going to stuff, and my friends are on Survivor, and like that part is so much fun. And then I think I fall into the next few seasons. I'm still kind of in it, and then maybe like a year ago around this time, it starts to creep in of like what happened to you is real and it's not going away, and it's not, you haven't really thought about it, so you should kind of dwell upon it more. And then I think 6 months ago, before 50 started, has been the worst that I personally have felt about my situation in the 3 years. And I think there's a lot to do with that. It's been the last 6 months, but I haven't, like, I think, I have not, when I go on Survivor, I'm very anxious, and I'm talking about my anxiety, and I've been lifelong anxious. And it's interesting that Survivor kind of cured it in a way. Like, I'm not anxious. I don't feel anxious day to day, and I haven't for a long time. However, I think some of the real estate that was taken up by anxiety has been bought up by and I think depression is not the right word. I don't think I'm there. I don't think I've never felt that. I don't know exactly what that feels like, but I think there has been an overwhelming sadness and guilt that has bought up a couple of those properties in the anxiety neighborhood where that once occupied.
Yeah. I appreciate you talking about this because I have another episode that's coming out apparently after this episode.
Sure, as this is the premiere.
Season premiere. But with Star Toomey, and we just recorded that recently for this season, and you think of Star, and it's like big energy, like high, fun, like funny, all of it. But like everyone has, and the episode will show that. I feel similarly about like Omer's episode in the last season, where it's just like, there's a lot of weight that people are carrying. And that's one reason I love to do Pod Friends, is like, hey, it's my space. Shout out to Tom. It's your space though to share kind of whatever comes up. I mean, I feel like though the part that I'm like, I almost can't wrap my head around like you use the word guilt especially, which is like, here's what I'll say that came to mind for me as you were sharing all that. Like, I remember watching your preseason interview with the one and only Mike Bloom. Love Mike Bloom. Another great Pod Friends conversation. Very real, raw Pod Friends conversation. Literally the best of the best.
I listened to that on the way to Fiji.
Oh, shit.
I did. Because I told him it didn't make the final edit of the thing. I think he cut it out. But I talked about it in my preseason with him.
Wow. That's interesting. And you probably told me this too.
I think so.
This is where my brain, I feel like I have a goldfish brain at this point. Like, you probably mentioned being Brandon Scott Donlon. You probably mentioned this Pod Friends. That's why it's interesting because like I just rewatched your preseason interview, and you're going and you have this great attitude. I think the part that warmed my heart the most, because obviously there's stuff that didn't go the way that you would have hoped or anyone would have hoped, was like the fact that you talked about You're like, I just want to leave with all these people as my family and my closest friends and spend time with them and do escape rooms. And you didn't get into the specifics of all of it, but I'm like,
Sure.
It's beautiful to see how I think a lot of that did come together and like, but anyway, I am curious about kind of what you're saying with like the guilt and other feelings around,
Well, it's
all of it, since
interesting.
you mentioned it.
The guilt is like there's many different like houses that the guilt lives in. I think house one is that I wanted the opportunity. I applied for years for the opportunity. I get the opportunity, and I mean, for all intents and purposes, I do blow it, and I don't need like, and this isn't to you, Matt Scott, but like
Yeah.
the notion that I did not blow it is hard for me when it
Yeah.
feels so to me like I had it, I
Yeah.
earned it, I got it, and then it was so quickly away because of, and this is again not to totally diatribe from the guilt conversation,
Great.
but something that happened to me 6 months ago or so is my parents are moving from my childhood home. I had all my Survivor stuff there, and I'm looking through like my pregame journal that I'm writing as I'm doing the pregame interviews, and all of it is like, I'm so nervous, I'm so scared. This is going to go so bad. This is like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, is it going to be over quickly? Like, it's I
Yeah.
I did what happened to me. Like I and my mind and the anxiety caused what happened to me.
Yeah.
And I feel so guilty that I took something that, although it is beautiful in abstract ways and you can find meaning in the suffering as you should in life, the thing that I wanted was taken away not because of anybody else but from me. Is that's how I currently resign myself to that.
I mean,
Guilt's neighbor is all of the people in the process of the Survivor casting team that invested their time and they believed in me, and the people that I talked to for years. I was in the casting process. And I talked shit about all these fucking super fans that want to do Survivor. And I named them and I told them what was wrong with them. And I said, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Boy. And then it happened to me so quickly and so in such a big way that I'm like, fuck, I feel so bad. I feel very uncomfortable when I meet anybody that works for the show. Like and I am otherwise pre-Survivor, post-Survivor, like I'm a very confident person.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that I don't feel confident about. And I profusely apologize. And I can feel in the moment of like, this feels unwarranted, but I feel so guilty that they put X into me and then I fucked it. I don't know if we can curse on here, but it's
you can. You can. I think we can decide if people could curse.
And then my guilt's it's the cul-de-sac of guilt is
oh damn.
I feel so guilty that I feel this way about what is the best thing that ever happened to me, and the thing that I wanted so badly in the world that I have any negative feeling toward it, because I can't believe I got to go. It's like the 11-year-old that was watching Survivor and was like, I need to go do that. And the 14-year-old who's running around these Rob as a Podcast events, and the 18-year-old who's making the video at midnight saying, oh my God, I got to go do this. Like that person got to fucking go. So why should I feel any type of bad about it? Like that's it's.
Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts on this. And specifically though, the part about it being the best thing that ever happened to you. And I've probably talked about it on the podcast. If I haven't, we're talking about it now. Like, one of the things I find frustrating about Survivor and the experience that people have, and this is just, I'll say, outside looking in at the casting process, is like they want it to be your everything. Like, I think of the line from Survivor 50, which I think is in the promos, where Jeff's like, all I want from you is everything you've gotten. It's like, sir, do you want my soul? Do you want my organs? Like, I am an organ donor. Did just renew my license. I'm still an organ donor, so that's great. Jeff could have my organs if he wants them. But it's like they want so much from you, which you can't blame. But then it builds up everything so much to a point, at least from what I've understood, like that. I mean, it's almost like there will be disappointment if you end up being one of the people to go out at one of the many spots. Things could have gone very differently for you under different circumstances. But I bring that up because like there's no way that you being on Survivor was the best thing in your life or the best moment. Like I feel like you've had such from my perception again, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like I feel like you've been living the dream that a lot of people would want to live, and it's not even because of like just being on Survivor, but it's like all the cool shit that you get to do now.
Well,
But
I
you know what?
do, and I
That's
will.
like outside looking in, right? So like,
And I agree with that. I think that is a fair and accurate assessment. I think it was the thing that in my life I always wanted. It was the crown jewel, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But I do, and the joke, which is probably not a nice joke that I make, is like I feel like I'm on like my 9th Make-A-Wish. Like I can't believe that I get to do like the coolest thing in the world 9 different times. Like
yeah,
it feels unbelievable to me. And that was one of those things. But even before that, I got to do so
yeah,
much cool stuff.
yeah.
And a lot of that cool stuff, not all, but some of it was tied in this world also, is I got to, my favorite thing in the world, how often you get to get immersed in your favorite thing. I mean, Jonathan Penner says in the Micronesia premiere, talking about the fans and the favorites, he's like, you want to watch the Boston Red Sox, but you don't want to play against the Boston Red Sox. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
If you love the Boston Red Sox, the biggest Boston Red Sox fan in the world, he's a guy in his 50s who lives in Foxborough and he has his basement. He's got so many plaques and he knows all the stats. But that guy isn't going to ever be able to be on the team. He's not going to play. He may
Yeah,
pay a lot of money to touch the whatever you call it, the field, but he's not going
yeah.
to be able to be in it. Like I got to be in my favorite thing, which feels undeserved. Before I did it, feels undeserved after I did it. Just because who am I to be able to experience something that I love with every part of myself and have for X amount of time. Like I'm very, very lucky,
But
despite the circumstances.
I think that's the piece though. Like you really love Survivor and all the parts of that, whether it's on the show, outside of it. You love it more than anyone. Like you have so much love that you put into it. And the thing that I realized that maybe surprised me is like a lot of people who are super fans. My last episode before this one, which was the season finale, was 50 plus people submitting their stories of what Survivor means to them and how it's changed their lives. And a lot of those people would never even consider applying, would never want to do. Some of them want it, a lot of them want it, I'm sure. But there's so many people who say, that's not for me. And you wanted it and you loved it. Like you got it. I can't picture like, I mean, I know, I'm sure many people who want it badly, but like you bring like that love, you brought that love and that passion for Survivor. And then you mixed it with like also being really quick witted and having charisma and like a great story and a great hairline and, great facial hair, great glasses, great shirt choice, clean room, nicely placed pillow on your bed.
I'm strategically sat in a place that I can't get up from. There's a lot going on back here.
Yeah.
And that was very nice. Although I think you were describing Jelinski for most of that, but that's very nice.
No, it wasn't. I'll say horrible things about Jelinski, but
I do find that John Mulaney has I've said this on a different podcast, but John Mulaney has said in a interview, I believe with Conan O'Brien, he's like, I could never wrap my mind around people who didn't want to be comedians. Like I grow up and I'm like, you guys all don't want to, like, how could you not want what looks to be like the best job in the world? And I've said this ad nauseum, but I see Survivor as an 11-year-old, and there was never a moment where I was like, oh, I have to go do that. Like it was I've likened it to the way that I went to Catholic school, and you hear from the priests and the nuns, they got called to serve. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And we were all like, that sounds like it sucks to be like, we don't want that to happen. But then we'd all ask, like, how do you know? Like, well, what's the, like, cause none of us want to get called. It's like, how do we know what the call is like so we can ignore it? And then the priests or the nun, whoever, I can remember specifically a priest who said this. He was like, you just know. He's like, if you know, you know. And I'm telling you, it's like, I've never felt that thing before or since, but seeing Survivor play out in front of 11-year-old me, I was like, okay, that's it. Like, I gotta go. I said I think my preseason stuff is like, it felt like some higher power was showing me this thing. And it's like, this is yours if you want it. Like, you just got to let me know you're in. And if you're in, like, we can do this. Like, you can do it. And I remember
your teacher. You talked about your teacher telling you about Survivor. Gabon.
Yes, yeah. This is she mentioned it earlier in the day. My sixth grade teacher, who actually just a couple weeks ago was on. I said in all my preseason stuff, if I won, I was going to pay for her to go to Fiji. Like, I wanted to bring her to, I wanted to send her and her husband to Fiji.
She's on 51.
Yeah. I haven't seen her name in the league, but like 3 weeks ago on Facebook, I saw that she was in Fiji, and I commented, I'm like, "Oh my God, you made it!" Like, I'm so glad I didn't have to pay for it. But she mentioned it, and I didn't think that she liked me, and I'm a kiss ass. I wanted her to like me, so I watched it, and then it was the best thing I've ever done. It's like I have no idea where I would be without it. It's crazy.
Wow, that's insane. No, it's a huge part of your life. We'll have to come back to Catholics. Well, you know what? We're not coming back to it. So people love when we talk about Catholic school. I was a K-12 Catholic school.
Were you really?
Yeah. You could picture me in like a little vest, I don't know why I picture shorts being.
We wore shorts. We wore khaki shorts in the summer.
A skirt, shirt tie.
Yeah.
That was me. No, it was, but yeah, K-12 Catholic school, not Catholic. Were you in Catholic school like your whole life before college?
Kindergarten to senior year of high school, Catholic school.
Wow.
Always. And I was in I don't know how small your class was, but
pretty small.
I was in my elementary school, I think was 16, 17.
Yeah.
And then
mine was like 14 to 15.
Oh my God, even smaller.
Yeah.
And high school was like 50 or 60, I think.
Yeah.
And that's just, I didn't know anybody did different stuff. It's like, I was like, oh my God, you guys, like, my girlfriend is like, there were 400 people in your graduating class. Like you could run into somebody and not know that you graduated together is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. Wait, so when you were in high school, because I'll dox myself. I went to Seton Hall Prep in Jersey boy.
Sure.
It's very, athletics was a thing there. I didn't have those abilities. What were you doing in high school with your time?
Oh, that's a funny question. I was not participating in the athletics. I went to St. Joseph's High School.
I went to
New Jersey.
I went to St. Joseph's School, like K to 8.
Okay.
So now people are going to look up my whole thing. But the school, actually, my St. Joseph's School no longer exists. So good luck finding it.
Listen, it's like an easiest reality. It's like one of these shows. It's like, that got canceled 7 years ago. This is St. Joseph High School is now, I think, morphed into something. It had everybody's doing mergers these days.
It's so true.
But I was just hanging. Like, I think personality-wise, I am largely unchanged. Like,
wow,
this was just doing this 15 years ago.
No.
Oh,
there's no way. How's that possible? Like, you're just as out there, like out there being like, bold, brave, courageous, strong, popular.
Sure. This is me. Just like, let's make sure we're talking about me. Yeah, I think that personality-wise, I think I'm still. I've been doing this for a long time. I think this is kind of it.
Wow. But you really had Survivor in the background that whole time, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was there
never came up.
Were there points where I was going to ask, like, I'm curious if there are points where like Survivor sort of peaked up for you. I guess, it's so funny because I feel like oftentimes I barely talk about Survivor with some guests, but it's like such a huge part of your life. And I think for a lot of people, especially with season 50, a lot of people are like looking back on their fandom and their experiences with all of it. Players obviously have their own relationship with the show, but like, were there points, like whether high school or otherwise, where like you felt Survivor like calling you as if you were a priest and or nun?
I think it was always there, whether it wasn't, the same way that you could liken like the bad parts of it to like a chronic pain. That was like, it was like a chronic good thing, like a chronic, I don't know, head pat or whatever is like a nice physical thing. Where it was always around, but it was just not, I couldn't play for the first couple, high school, obviously. And then once I could play, it was a matter of when, I thought. But I had so many great memories of high school, college with people who were just unaffiliated with the world. And I think right now, just the nature of now my job and being in the world, I'm so in on this world in a way that I feel there's another house. They just built a new house in Guiltville that I feel like I've lost touch with a lot of people that like I really love and care about a lot. But I had so much going on, and that was never as present as it was the past 3 years, but it was always just back there, and nobody watched it. Like, I'm in high school.
Apparently
like,
not.
The joke that I've made the past couple of years is like, if you would tell me that like the people I used to hang out with in high school all now know who Boston Rob is for some reason, like is Boston Rob was so a guy who just existed here and like, with a couple of people that I talked to on the internet and then nowhere else. But now everybody, I got my friend from high school texting me, I got Boston Rob's on this show. I'm like, how the fuck do you know Boston Rob?
But that's the thing that's weird to me. To me, it feels like, I mean, I was going to make a comparison to pro wrestling, but honestly, it's like literally no one was watching that. But like there are people who now I'm like, wait, you were a wrestling fan? I was a closet wrestling fan. Like, why do we never talk about this? But with Survivor, it's the same thing. And I just think no one thought it was cool to talk about because so many people were watching with their families or otherwise, or they watched and then dropped off. But it's wild. When did you first apply to the show?
I applied every year since I was 11. So I applied through.
What was your 11-year-old video like?
I've said this in like interviews and I've been asked for preseason stuff. I don't even remember, but I was just like, hey, listen, I'm going to be old enough at some point. And when I am, I'd like to participate in your television show, please.
Do you have are any of your casting videos out there? Like on YouTube?
I think the one, if you're interested in seeing the one that
yes.
I mean, I'm talking to anybody who's listening. I'll send you the one that got me on, but I don't think I have anything published. Because one, I think my cell number is in. But I was very careful to not post anything. Well, okay. You never know who's going to call. But I made a video, every year, and then I have a weird casting, like a roundabout way to have gotten when they called me how I got there. But eventually they call and they said to me, they're like, hey, we know who you are. Like, we've seen you forever. Like, we know you. And I was like, oh my God, you know me? And they're like, yeah, we think you're funny. And I said, oh, great. And they were like, we were just waiting to see, weird. Like, we want the person who I talked to, who's, my casting person.
Did you have to fit the puzzle piece? The piece had to fit into the puzzle?
They told me that one time. And I'm like, but I'm so handsome. Are you kidding? I'm not the puzzle piece. Like, I'm such a handsome puzzle piece. But she was like, I just want to know that we just wanted to know that you'd be ready. And then pause. And then she was like, are you ready? And I said, I'm ready. Let's do it. And then it was 2 years from then. And then I was very ready.
I mean, you were ready. You were just more ready for stuff later on in the game.
Well, not even that. I think that I should really addendum that I was ready because I do wonder. I think, and this is what they tell you about Survivor casting is, and this is a rightful critique of folks on Reddit and Twitter, people who critique the casting process is, do want somebody with life experience.
Yeah.
I had a ton of life experience. Like, I know that I had life experience, but I do think there's credence to, like, it really would help to have been dramatically bad at something before, which I don't think I had that.
Huh.
Not to say that I've been good at everything that I've done, but I don't think I've put myself in a position to be bad at a lot of stuff. Like, I think it would have, I think that if you're going to do Survivor 53 or 54, like, you should go, like, take a juggling course or something. Like, just go suck at something in a way that I felt so, like, I think about resilience, and I think I needed, if they bottled resilience, I would have drank it if they would have given it to me, because I think that I was so disappointed and hard on myself and what have you. Like, I played sports up to the age of when you started to really play the sport. Like, I played the way that we all played. I famously cried going to a practice because I was going to miss the American Idol season 1 finale. Like, my priorities were elsewhere.
That's a good reason.
But I do think that professional sports teach you a lot of the things. If you lose the game for the group, which whether that's my situation or not, you don't feel like you have to immediately take responsibility. You can learn that skill, right? I think that winning as a team is a skill. I think all of those things are things that I wish that even if I felt like I lost X thing for the group, I wish I would have handled that better than the way that I handled it. And I think that's all also managing anxiety, which I don't think that I ever did particularly well. I think, and I can say this now because I've had years to reflect, is I think a lot of my anxiety management was putting that onus of how I'm feeling on the people that I'm with or the person that I'm with, as opposed to taking a minute and I said in one of my pregame interviews, I remember, I hope there's a mom on my tribe because a mom will make me feel better when I'm anxious, was my answer, 3 days before everything happened. But I do think that learning how to, and I think Aubrey does this particularly well in Co Wrong, of Aubrey has a bad couple days and then wins the first community challenge and then goes on to have this crazy season. I think it's just a matter of centering yourself, not needing anybody to help you, digesting, assessing the situation. I think Andy also does this particularly well in season 47. I think that there's a skill there that I wish I had more of when I was there. And I think that is something that I wouldn't have ever known unless you're battle tested and put in a situation. So it's now, I really don't like that person. I haven't watched it. I don't want to watch it. I think that person is annoying and not somebody that I want to spend particularly a lot of time with. I don't think I can have that reflection unless I lived it. So that's a good thing, right? That's a plus. But I have a hard time wrapping my mind around that.
Brandon, thank you so much for opening up so much. And if there's one thing I can wrap my head around, it's the fact that you have so much love from this community. So right now, I'm thrilled for you to hear from Sarah Cupcakes, from Gregory McBean, and from LewLew.
Hey, Brandon. I remember hearing you on your first few podcasts with RHAP, just thinking, wow, you are so naturally good at this. Just because you have this ease about you, this natural sense of humor that is such a good fit and really just connects you with the audience. So now we get to hear you on the podcast quite a bit. And that's really great for us. I love what you bring, the joy you bring, your ideas and your creativity. We're super spoiled by all of that. So I am so happy that you are one of our pod friends, and that you're a part of our lives. I hope that you are a part of our lives for many, many years to come, and I hope to see you at the airport soon.
Hey, Brandon, this is Greg McBean. Brandon, you've always made me feel incredibly special and like a really important member of the Survivor community anytime that we've interacted, either online through BCC, Twitter, all that stuff. And also, I really felt it in person at the Toronto event this year. I always enjoy speaking to you and hearing you on a podcast. Keep being awesome. You're great. Also, my girlfriend is incredibly jealous that I'm friends with you on Facebook, just so you know.
Brandon Donlon. Look, one thing I love about Brandon, and I've seen this pre-Survivor and post-Survivor, the one thing that I've grown to love about Brandon is he is a huge community person. He's a huge community person. He makes so much time for everyone. And I got to see that especially recently on my trips to Toronto and New York for the 50 live shows. He's someone who shows his heart. He's so passionate about the community and Survivor, and he makes so much time for everyone. And that's special, especially in a world like today, to have someone who gives you so much of their time. And I have 4 seconds left, but no, I really appreciate Brandon, and I'm so thankful.
And now back to my conversation with Brandon Donlon. Because I think of a lot of the superfans. Actually, Brandon, and I love when people watch on YouTube because we're all about the visuals here. The visuals. But, so where's my book? Okay. Recently, the tribe and I have spoken. This is not an ad. The tribe, yes, you have to hold up your book. The tribe and I have spoken.
It's so not an ad.
Not an ad. But it came out. You're on, I believe, there's an illustration of you on page 172. I'll say, if I'm remembering correctly. Beautiful illustration. Just pulled it up. You're here, even though it does look a little bit like Liz Wilcox.
Sure.
Andy's here. Asia's there. I believe that's Zach Ortenberger. Marianne, and then Omer are here. Do you feel like there's like anything that you talked about, like just being this super fan, wanting it so badly, but also not having all the tools to do it? Like, is this a super fan thing, or is like, I can imagine tons of people facing this, but I'm really curious about, if you've like put your heads together with the other 17th place clubbers or, all the people about this.
I think that's a great question, and I haven't thought about that. I think that my particular situation is very unique to me, and I think the way that everything has panned out, like up into and including today, is more relatable for like life than a lot of people that have done this. Because also, not for anything, a lot of Survivor is like dice rolls and not a literal dice roll, although sometimes it is a literal dice roll.
Yeah.
It's just like everything is random. And the stuff that is shown to you to be random, like rock draws and, whatever, that's part of it, as well as who you're on a tribe with, it's so butterfly effect Survivor.
Yeah.
Somebody name a person, who cares? Ricard putting a puzzle piece in like this is the difference between somebody's dream ending somewhere else. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have worn this shirt. I'm so sweaty.
No, it's great.
Cut it out.
I didn't even realize you were sweaty.
And that's why I shouldn't phrase them. It's a lot of things people aren't realizing. I think that there's a lot of.
It's a heat wave, by the way, right now.
Oh my God, it's 90 degrees out in New York City.
Yeah, your AC's not working, just like everyone else in New York. It's
not for anything. It's very loud, so I have to record without it and just be hot.
Oh, then okay, I'm sorry.
But
dice roll, random things happen. Yes,
I think that there's a lot more luck that goes into it. I think my particular situation is unique. Whereas that screen that you showed, like.
Yeah.
The people who didn't do well on that situation in this do well, Asia, Zach, like a different tribe fixes that. And a different one person doing another leg of a challenge fixes that. And one person on their tribe swapping out and swapping back in fixes that. That's also like life. I mean, it's hard to quantify in life of like, again, if you get in a car accident, you're not thinking, it could have not happened because somebody else could have been driving that car. Like, who cares? Like, that's not, nobody thinks like that because there's nothing that and $2 gets you a bag of chips, as Sri would say. Like, there's nothing actionable about it. But I do think with such a concentrated situation, it's easier to be attuned to the luck of it all. So yeah, I think that's an interesting question, but I don't think that's a super fan thing. I think it's more everybody has, and again, I'm not not me to dwell on the situation, but I think a lot of people have gone through, have been really excited about something, and then it doesn't go the way you want it to go. And whether that's, I want to go to my birthday party and then somebody drops the cake, that doesn't necessarily dictate how the rest of your life plays out, right? But there are situations that are on a bigger scale of the thing that I've likened a lot of this to is like, if you flunk the job interview, but then you meet your wife in the elevator, like at a certain point, you stop worrying about the job interview. Like, the job interview is second to this beautiful thing that came after it. And I'm there. Like I have such reverence and respect and love for the life that has happened since that. It's just still fresh. It's still new.
Well, I mean, like, just to jump in and give you more credit than what you literally just said does, like, it's not like that it's happened to you. Like, there's a reason you're in the position that you're in with this beautiful life. It's not just luck. There are certain people who think they could do your job or Sam Moore's job, who also were on Survivor. Like, they can't. They're not everyone's you. And that's the thing I think is like most inspirational, because damn, Brandon, I'm telling you, I really don't like that. I've never liked the ladder jokes. I've never liked the ladder comments.
Sure.
But I feel like there's actually something really beautiful there because like we all have our own ladder, you know?
Sure. Oh my God. Of course.
We all have our own ladder. And, you know, just because you might have like a bunch of life, like things happen and like that to us that maybe prevent us from climbing that ladder, so to speak, or hold us back. Like, okay, well, the next time that a ladder comes up, like, how am I going to handle that? Is sort of like when I look at you, I'm really amazed at what you've made out of all of it. And like the first person who comes to mind, who I absolutely adore, is the one and only Bryce Isaiah, of course, because like look at how his Survivor experience went, but then look at everything he built outside of it. And I feel like what's cool is like I interviewed him on Podfriends like 3 years ago, probably, and that was at one phase. But then now Bryce and Wen and their whole brand continues to grow. And with you, it's like, okay, here's where we are 3 years since you filmed, like 2.5 years since it aired. But like 2.5 years from then, or from now, where are we gonna be? Or like 3 years from now, where are we gonna be? So I'm kind of curious, like how you did it after the fact. Because it's not just luck. Like there are so many different survivors around. And I think even like, truth be told, even if you're in this community and part of RHAP and you're a patron, if you're an early boot, like it's I think harder to get that traction sometimes in the community than it is if you're around and if you made it to the finale or whatever the case might be. But like, what was that like from your perspective? Because yeah, I'm curious because I don't know how it happened. I just know that it happened, and we're all thankful for it.
Well, I do, and thank you for that because that was very nice. And I thank Bryce every time I talk to Bryce of like I couldn't do any of this without him, and neither could anybody who has gone out. But just as a fan of the show at home, he was the first one to do what he has now done, which all of us are like cheaply imitating. But he is the reason that all of us makes it sound like we're like, you know, a marginalized group, and we're not. Like we're all, you know, it's a weird way to say it, but we are like that. He's the patron saint of being able to have this experience, have it not go the way you want it to, but still making something beautiful out of it. I think that's an easy slam dunk for him that nobody could have done better. He was the right person to do it, and I had never talked to him about like, does he feel like now that happened, and it's like, what does he change if he could change anything? Because I really I think about it. I don't want to change anything. Like the way that it went is the way that it went. I sometimes find myself wondering about how it could have been different, but I don't necessarily want to change it. And I think that's again perhaps relatable to something in your life. Is if you went to a different college, or you went to the, you know, if you weren't going to go on the date and then you went on the date, like you'll remember, you'll sometimes be like, I wonder what would have happened on that date. That's just, you know, me musing. But in terms of doing all of this stuff, I had always had the belief, and I remember writing this down after Survivor. It's like, I don't want the thing I love to like hurt me. You know what I mean? Like I can't let the thing that has really like been this foundational piece of who I've become, even without getting to go, without getting called to go, whatever. Like I can't let that be the way that be the thing that tears me down. And you've seen it, and it doesn't matter who they are because it's their business. But there are people who go on, who love it, who you don't hear from. And not to say like you hear from me, listener, too much. Like I'm not what you should do. But it breaks my heart to have something that I know the power of, like this show, be the reason that somebody doesn't want to show up at something or doesn't want to talk about something. And that's their prerogative, and they should heal the way they wanted to heal. But I did not want that to be my story. And then I think as time goes on, and this is something that I think a lot about. And I write a lot of stuff. I write very long form stuff, and I never post it. It's in my notes app. I don't ever release the files. That's what we're all
the gold.
I think it's a really interesting phenomenon in the Survivor world. Is every week there's the fishy winner, right? The player of the week, and I say those as proverbial as examples, not the thing. But also every week there's like a loser of the week. There's somebody who had the worst episode. And whether that's somebody who just made a poor move, whatever, those don't hold as much weight week to week because those people change. But every once in a while, there's somebody who really like gets the vitriol of the internet. And I think that you kind of have a couple choices when this happens to you, which is you can lean in and make a joke about it. I think Teeny did this the best that I think I've seen anybody do. When Teeny hates men or hates Sam Failing, whatever that thing was, Teeny came out and was funny, and I think there's nobody better than Teeny. Jelinski did this. I think Sophie Bellardi did this particularly well during season 49 when I forget what the fuck she didn't play the thing that everybody was mad at.
Right. Yeah, easy mistake.
And I think what that does is it validates whatever, like it's like you're making the joke before somebody else can make the joke. You're in on it, and it ingratiates people to you. Whereas if you lean out, I think that further makes people believe the thing that the preconceived notion they have of you, and they don't like it because they know that like they're what you're saying is getting to them, and they're making that clear, and that makes people want to one say it more, or two like, oh, he can't, or she can't handle it. That to me is so interesting, and it's so interesting to see how people handle it. And there's no wrong way. I think there's pros and cons to both, but I think that's interesting.
Yeah,
I do think that leaning in to the extent that I leaned in got a lot of people on my side that weren't when they watched it, and people saw me in a way that the show was not necessarily representing me to be, and that's not on the show. I was that person. It's like you're seeing a side of my personality that wasn't necessarily as present on the show, and that side of my personality is somebody who doesn't take things seriously and is affable and is I won't call myself fun, but like is somebody who's
you're fun. You're fun. You're fun.
And I think that gave me the confidence to. And I shouldn't even say stick around because it was whatever. But I worked in content production from the minute I graduated college. My degree is in radio, TV, and film, which is from Rowan University. Which, if you're listening, maybe the dozens of you are thrilled that I'm mentioning. I have a degree in radio, TV, film, and a minor in journalism, a minor in social media. I have always been making content for different businesses, brands, what have you. And then at some point I said to Rob, I was like, listen, like I could potentially make some stuff that I think would do well. I know the market. And he was like, yeah, sure. Do whatever you want. And then after like a year or so of doing that, I was working at a different job, a job that's no longer on my LinkedIn. I didn't like it. And I told him, I was like, listen, I would love to be doing this with you all the time. I was like, put a ring on it. You know what I mean? Like I'm your side thing. And
wait,
he was like, all right,
Brandon, I have to interrupt and ask what kind of job? I obviously don't want to dox your old job, but what kind of job were you doing that you didn't put on your LinkedIn? People, I'm sorry. Sure people are wondering.
You
don't even need to go that much.
I know. I mean, I won't say the place, but I worked at Temple University when I was on Survivor pre and post. I love Temple University. It's my other than this, it's my favorite job I've ever had. It's the best people I've ever worked with. I had such a ball working in content creation at Temple University.
Yeah.
I've worked at content creation at other universities that hasn't been as fun. So it's the same job. It's just a different crew.
Okay. Now everyone could be. You're welcome, everyone, that I paused to ask about that. Anyway, you were talking about Rob. You're talking about putting yourself out there, going to work for Rob. Worked for him for a year, you were saying. And then it was like, where do we go?
I said, put a ring on it. And he said, all right.
Yeah.
And then we put a ring on it. And that was January of last year. And now we're cooking. I think he'll keep me. I think if this is the longest job interview ever, but I think I'm good for a little bit.
I mean, I hope that you're still around by the time that this comes out.
Now, I just saw that he entered the StreamYard with a big "You're fired" sign. Is that a different?
I won't let him in. I won't let him in.
Don't let him in.
Thanks, Rob. No, you're in the book. You're in the book. So that's, that I think that cements you a little bit. So, no, I mean, I think like you went for it, just to give you credit and underscore that, like most people wouldn't even ask or put themselves out there? Like, where did that, I'll say boldness, courage also crossed my mind, but like, where did that come from? That
That's a good question.
moxie?
I don't know. I think I'm very determined. I think that I've always I every I get very prickly with the everything I've wanted I've gotten, because I don't think that's necessarily true, but I think I tried really hard to get everything that I've wanted, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I do think when there's something that I visualize that I want, I'll do anything to make sure it happens. And I think that getting out of I graduated with a radio, television, and film degree, which is nothing.
Perfect. Well,
For
I mean, unless you're doing props.
Well, sure. I mean, now
it's
it's weird that it worked out, but
yeah,
I graduate with 20 or 30 other people in radio, TV, film. I don't have aspirations to work for DreamWorks or what have you, but I knew I wanted to create content, and then I was freelancing, making content right out of college with no resume and no body of work. I just went into companies, and I was companies. I would go talk to people that needed somebody to do my job, and I was like, listen, I can make a couple examples really quick, and I can kind of sell you just verbally on how I can do this really well. And that's how I landed every job that I got.
But I feel like
I'm so underqualified.
No, but I mean, sure. Fine.
Well,
You're probably so underqualified for what you do now. But the thing is, you make it work. Like, that's most people, so many people are faking it. Like, fake it till you make it,
Sure.
Like, and I'm sure you learned along the way as you did that work. But like, I'm thinking of, I don't even know who it is, but there was a whole conversation in the patron Facebook group where someone was posting about a job situation where they're like, do I leave this job that I kind of hate, but also it's safe and comfortable, and I don't want to I feel guilty leaving people who work with, or do I go and do the thing I want to do? And I feel like a lot of people are really hesitant to do the thing that they want to do, whether or not there's something they feel guilty about leaving behind, or they just don't want to ask because they don't want to be annoying, in air quotes. They don't want to be the person who's going to put themselves out there and have people hate them for asking for a thing. Like, is there advice? Because believe it or not, I think you're a great source of advice for this. Like, is there advice you have for other people who are wanting to do a thing, they want something, but they also don't want to be for lack of a better term, they don't want to be weird. Like, you don't want to be weird.
And it's so relatable. It's
yeah.
I think embracing, and this isn't my advice, but this is my diatribe before the advice. I think embracing the fear of failure, that many things don't work out.
Yeah.
The worst, and again, I want to package my advice in a better way, but the worst they're going to say is no. If they shut you down, they shut you down. You go back to work. Fine. But you have one time at this, and I think of, now I was an anxiety sufferer, and I know there are many out there for a long time. I feel very blessed that I don't feel that emotion 99% of the time anymore, the way that I felt I feel like that kept me from so much stuff because I was worried about what'll happen if X or what'll happen if Y. And I think that some of that is me being type A planner. I can't put myself in that position because X might go wrong, right? I'm anticipating what could go wrong so that I don't want to do it. But who cares? Just let it be wrong and adapt. And that's the thing that, not to again talk about Survivor, but that's the lesson in Survivor. The person who wins Survivor is often not the most strategic or social or whatever, but they did adapt the best every round that they had to do something. That's what the show is being adaptable. And I think that if you want to leave, do I recommend you leave without a backup plan and then go to a second job? Don't do that. Within reason, you should put all the pieces in place to have your best day-to-day situation possible, because you get to do it once. You know what I mean? You're never going to be this age doing this thing with this amount of money ever again.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I've weirdly, I don't know where, probably I've had a ton of conversations about what you're talking about though. And I've sort of summed it up as okay, oftentimes we'll have a gut feeling. My gut feeling is that I want this thing, or I should do this thing, or I should be on Survivor or working with these people or whatever. Sometimes, like, you know, I it's hard for me to like delineate between like the heart and the gut. You have to call Kellen for that.
Sure.
But the head sometimes is like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And, you know, you kind of put out a good point. Like, yeah, you could like get prepared, get your head in a place where it's ready to follow what your gut is doing. But I'm a big fan of like, listen to yourself. Like, don't just take like one person's probably shitty advice for you and not do the thing. Like, I don't know, like stick with it. My phone's blowing up. Someone's probably trying to give me advice. It's crazy.
Like, hey, stick with it. I agree with that. I think that even today, this is just something that I was in a situation today where I was talking to somebody about, you know, they were upset about whatever. And I was like, if you're going to send a text, like, give it a couple hours. Do you know what I mean? Like, the most well-written, well-thought-out text possible, but like, wait a little bit. You know what I mean? Like just because it's not about impulsively doing the thing that you want, but it's also about not denying yourself of the thing that you want. I think there's a happy medium, which is like, do really, really well, but just figure out the best way to do that thing. And that's how I, you know, even if you're going to leave your job tomorrow, I don't think I'm qualified to tell you how to do that, but I can tell you how to leave your job in 2 months. Like, I think that's an easier, you know, I can get you to, you know, maybe here's 10 things you should, and I'm not Kellen. This is Kellen's job, but like, here are 10 things that you should do before you leave, and then you leave.
Yeah.
I think that's a much easier ask than an impulsive thing.
Yeah. No, I look, I love this. Our conversation's gone in a lot of different places. I want to know though, from your perspective, like, and this is the thing that kind of blows my mind as a, you know, as a lowly podcaster here, just little old me. The thing that blows my mind is like, sometimes I'll meet, actually, one of the things I really love about meeting and talking with patrons of RHAP or listeners is that they see, like, they might even see what I'm doing and think it's the coolest thing. Like, oh my gosh, you spoke with this person or that person. But like, the Survivor 50 files, an iconic summer of Brandon Donlon's life. Beautiful things. And then there's also just so much other cool stuff that you've done. But like, one, I'm so curious. I'd love if you could tell me about some of those pinch me moments, because I won't make it about me and share mine right now.
Well,
but
share
like,
yours. What do you mean? Share yours.
I still have a lot. Well, I'll give you one.
Please.
Parvati Shallow. I cannot digest having interviewed Parvati, having met Parvati. I was at her book club event in DC. I was sitting front row. She kept looking at me and giving me these looks. I kept looking at her like, oh, yeah, girl. Oh, yes. Like, we're best friends, right?
And you are.
All these things. We are. We're best friends. Well, no, she was actually the one calling me, trying to give me advice, but I didn't want to pick up.
Yeah,
I thought it was spam.
It's rude to do with a podcast going.
I thought it was spam, honestly. Anytime she tries to call me, I'm like, that's not Parv. But like, that's a pinch me moment of many pinch me moments. I think the first Survivor player I met was like Sari, and I don't even really remember that because I was like,
can't go up from there.
It was like, I couldn't process it. But I'm curious for you, who have been / what have been some of those pinch me moments? Because you're deep in it.
I think sure. The couple times that I had met like your legend tier Survivor contestants were interesting, but I think that those are, for me, like more fleeting because there's just always there's always somebody else, and then it's Sari, and then there's nobody after. But what I have found just the past few months going to these Rob as a podcast shows, the pinch me moment for me is hearing from relative or the partner, the spouse of the person who is the fan of the podcast, because I love hosting podcasts. I love being on podcasts. I love being in front of the camera in any way. I love being on stage. Oh my God. It's my favorite thing in the world. I love it. And this sounds self-deprecating, and it is not. It's an objective fact. is if you're watching the show in the audience and you know who I am and you know my lore, so to speak, your thought is, oh, the guy who was like bad at Survivor or the guy who was early out in Survivor is a pretty good host. Or the guy that's, that had this thing happen to him is actually, you fill in your adjective. But the people who don't know me, who will come up to me and tell me, oh, you're a good host. Or like, you're funny. Like whatever the compliment is. That means more to me than anything in the world. Because that's validating this skill that I hope to have and not only keep it at the level that it is, but also keep sharpening and sharpening, like to validate that for me. And it's not a but. It's not a like, oh, he was bad at this. I feel so often there are like, and this isn't a me thing, but I see so often some folks are only talked about with a qualifier in front of it. Like, and this is across all people on shows. It's like, oh, they were annoying, but they were really good at blank, or like whatever. I'm thinking of, and it doesn't matter who, but I'm thinking of a very specific Big Brother player when I mentioned that. But to have a really genuine compliment given to me, you're shaking your head. What's your head?
I'm annoyed because I'm like, spill the tea, Brandon.
I can't spill I can text them, so I can't. It'll make things weird if I say who it is.
Yeah.
But that to me is a really that compliment means the absolute world to me. It's like, you don't know me or what has happened to me, but you are just like the idea that I could be just a host they paid to show up, which I like. That is so cool for me. That's like, oh my God, who would have ever thought that could have been my life? Is that I'm just not to say that I want to necessarily like host professionally. I love it, but it's like to know that that skill is not something that I'm necessarily like imagining in my head is a really validating pinch me moment for me.
That's beautiful. And I love that. And I love that you're having those validating pinch me moments. And I'm going to move past the fact that you didn't name names and cause drama. I'm trying to get the social media clips that then you could help me get out there into the world. You know, the ones where you're like, I hate this person. I hate Rob.
But
like if you wouldn't say that,
really,
you know?
I can't do qualifiers.
It's fine, but
whoever, if you're listening, whoever you thought of when I said that, you're right. You're probably right. So put a bit.
It'll hit me. I'm good at guessing those things apparently. So anyway, but yeah, I love this. I love like what you're saying of like just being almost like just being seen or perceived and appreciated in the moment, which is really special, not having the pre-existing parasocial relationships and all the other things. And that was so lovely, Brandon. But who have you fanboyed out for? I'm like, I want you to name names.
Who did I fanboy? I mean, like, of course, like meeting Parvati was a joy to have somebody that I like really like loved and admired for so long. And to meet them and to have them be super cool was very validating. I have like a very nice anecdote about Ozzy, who I met at the Ron Clark Academy during season 46 of Survivor. So this is one after me. And this is still I hate to, I'm not this self-deprecating listener. Like this is not I'm not like this. Nor like not in this space. I feel very vulnerable because of the talents of Matt Scott. However, I do when I'm in spaces like when we are at the events, listener, that you and I both go to, I feel great because I feel like I'm with my family.
Yeah.
Right? These people know me, they love me, they get me. I do feel a little bit uncomfortable when I'm in spaces with a lot of alumni, mainly the old guard. The people who like, the new era is like everybody that I went to high school with. The old guard are people that may have seen me, may have seen clips of me, and the people who are the rough and tumble 39 days, we didn't have water. Like I have found that I am not their favorite. And I get why. And that's valid for them. So I would never approach Ozzy. Like I don't want it. Like Ozzy is that guy to me. So I don't like Ozzy's there. I'm over here. I'm not going to engage. And then at some point we just get next to each other. And he gave me a hug and it was very nice. And then I think I said something to the effect of like, I didn't think this was going to be, and I wasn't sure. And then he was like,
Sorry, I'm sweating a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I can't tell you what happened next. And then he was like, it was very clear to me that you gave it everything. And then he gave me a hug, which was very, very, I see Ozzy on the show and I see Ozzy on Instagram, and that is a moment that he has long forgotten about. I will never, ever forget it. I think about him every time. I think about that every time I see him. And that was even if he was lying, it's one of the nicest things that anybody's ever said to me. So I really appreciate Ozzy for that.
I don't think he was lying. I don't think he has it in him.
No, we're not going to ask him, but we don't know.
I don't think don't tell him I said this. I don't think he has it in him. So.
You know what? And I haven't considered that.
You know what? That's a great way of thinking about it.
It's very, very funny. I don't know if I have any fanboy anything.
Have you had any disaster moments with people? And you don't even need to name names.
Yeah, but I'm not going to say who it was.
Yeah. I love a blind item. I love it. It's just
somebody came up to me and I felt horrible about it. Because I'm not talking shit. I'm not a guy who's talking shit, ever. I do so many of these. I'm not saying anything bad about anybody.
Uh-oh.
But I am at something relatively recently. Not recently. Not, this is not a season 50 sanctioned event. It's nobody.
No one said, it's recent is subjective.
Recent subjective. I just want to clarify. It is not a season 50 cast member.
Okay.
It's a member of the old guard. And the old guard comes up to me.
This is in New York?
This is not New York.
Okay.
I can't get it, but if I give you too many qualifiers, it'll make it very clear who it was.
I'm trying to narrow it down a little, but New York was broad enough. So,
I'll say it in the chat in a second. But this person comes up to me and they're like, you were talking shit. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I think I give off non-confrontational. I can hold my own in a confrontation. I'm happy to have a confrontation. And I'm like, talking shit. I was like, on you? And he's like, on me. And I was like, I would never do that. I was like, and I didn't do it. Whatever this person thought that was said about them was maybe said about them, but not from me. I would know if I did it. And I'm like, this person did not buy that I didn't talk shit. And then a couple times across the night, I would go over, I would make a conversation. Like, I did not talk shit, but they thought I talked shit. And I was like, listen, if I can't talk shit, just the nature of how this went for your boy, I'm not going to ever talk shit on somebody's situation. It's just not my
thing. Put the name in the private chat.
Hold on.
This will just be between us. No one's ever going to. Actually, you know what? I'll probably.
For 1,000.
I'll also say, the one time I met this person, so sweet, sweetest guy, and so nice. He wanted to hang out and talk with us a lot, and I just thought, wow, who would think that this person would want to talk? But he didn't ever think I was talking shit. He never.
This is the nicest guy in the world. This is somebody that I love. And really, I was so caught off guard because it's if I talked shit, I would say it. I'm fine to say it. I've had situations where that's been brought to my attention and we talk about it like adults. I didn't say anything about this guy. It's crazy. I don't know who did. A lot of Survivor fans look like me. And a lot of people who have podcasts look like me.
Who do you think that? Yeah, you do look like, I don't know who you look like. A lot of them.
The joke that I make is that if I were to ever commit a crime, I would do it at one of the live shows because we all look alike. So it's they'd bring us into the room behind the glass, and then we're like, oh my God, I can't tell which one did it because you're all bearded with glasses.
I think you could bring it back. I think you could kind of rekindle things.
I hope so. I hope he forgot about it. I really like this person. But that's the only negative interaction I've ever had. And
that's hilarious.
In my psyche of I don't want to go talk to this person, that is completely self-imposed. Everybody that I've ever talked to has been so lovely. The people who have watched me are lovely. The people who haven't are lovely. This person, notwithstanding, it had nothing to do with me on the show. It's just they thought I would talk shit about them. And I didn't.
Wow. That's so beautiful, though. Look, it's nice to have positive experiences. It's nice to have negative ones. I'll just share. I don't think I've talked about this here. There is one person from the new era who, like, and I'm not a shit talker.
Sure.
I'm chill. I'm fine.
Sure.
I appreciate most people. But one person who, like, if you mention them, I will go off on a rant about how much I don't like this person. And
Oh,
it's
that's
not
interesting.
even anything from the show. It's just like personal interactions at a couple of these live shows, and I
Wait,
was very
can you
annoyed.
say it? Can you say it in the chat?
I can.
I think it's
No, I'll tell you after. I'll tell you
Okay,
after.
that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine.
It's just a it's fine. You probably have your own experiences too.
I
But
will
yeah.
say, I did just think of somebody else that I really love and care about in a positive way.
Yeah.
It's if you're listening to this, I don't know when this is going to come out.
It's soon.
Soon.
Probably May 31st.
I did this, and who knows if Aubrey is going to win Survivor 50 or not. Couple days before the premiere.
Yeah, I guess we'll know in 3 days.
Yeah.
You should say it both ways. You should say, I could edit it, and I'm gonna leave this part in. You should say like, "Oh, I'm so glad Aubrey won," or "Oh, I wish she should have won."
That's better. Aubrey, the winner of Survivor 50, I'm the first person on Rob as a podcast to say it. I did a podcast with Kellie Wentworth about Aubrey. I can't believe Aubrey lost Survivor 50. Oh my God. Joe won?
Mm-hmm.
Who saw that coming?
Not me.
I did a podcast with Kellie Wentworth while Rob was gone, while I did that podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And it is my favorite podcast I've ever done. I think she is so much fun in a way that I loved her watching her. I followed her on Instagram. Like I had always admired her, but she is the best. Like she is as advertised, if not better. You can't find a better person to do this with or just, chit chat with. I really, really, out of all the people that I've met, I think that she is my favorite new interaction. I wouldn't call us close friends. I don't know. I would call us acquaintances, but every interaction that I have with her is the best in the world. And we are all better off for having Kellie Wentworth around.
Oh my gosh. That's so beautiful. I know. I need to get Kellie on Pod Friends. So I don't know. I don't know if I know anyone who knows her.
Get the person we talked about on Pod Friends and then ask them about what happened.
I think if I'm trying to be careful here. I think if I tried to have them on Pod Friends, there'd be people who are like, "What? Who's that for?" You know what I mean? Like, who's that for?
And this is a clue, listeners. It's a clue. Get your pen and paper out. Figure out who it is. Tell me privately. Don't comment it.
It's for Brandon Donlon, and that's the answer. But like speaking of cool people, Kellie Wentworth. Shout out to her. But Wentworth does count, as I like to say.
Counts for me.
But so I think one of the most beautiful things, and we have to talk about it, is like your cast. Well, season 45 is such an interesting season from a Survivor perspective. One, because it's at the top of so many people's new era rankings, which is very fascinating to me as someone who has not gone back and like rewatched a lot of new era or really very little of it. So I love that for you because you're part of it. But also, I just have always appreciated how close the cast is and like how integral you are to that. Like I have to mention I will never forget. There's actually a lot of things I'll never forget that involve you, Brandon.
Sure.
One of them, which is not the point of my story, is when Liam from One Direction died.
Yeah, we were together.
I think you told me this. Emily Flippin was there. I didn't believe you when you said it. Emily confirmed. I was like, damn, Emily wouldn't lie about that. So there is
something really. I've tried to make this into like a comedy bit, and I don't think it's that funny. But like, there's something really powerful about having information that a famous person died and nobody else in the room has seen it yet.
No, that was mind blowing.
There's a couple seconds you're like, I'm the king of the world right now. You know what I mean? Not to besmirch Liam.
But I do think it's sad that like I legitimately was like, Brandon, stop talking. Like, Emily, what actually is happening in the news? she also had this like little briefcase type of suitcase thing that I thought was like a clarinet or something. But no, the thing I really won't forget is the moment I met you, which was in Philadelphia. Survivor Philadelphia was filming. You walk into the park, I see a guy over there with the hair, and I'm like, is that Brandon Donlon? I think that's Brandon Donlon. I don't know why he's here. Then you make a B-roll over to me. B-roll. You make a B-roll over to me, not a beeline. You made B-roll.
We'll put B-roll over this.
Together. You put B-roll over this. Now I'm thinking of a pork roll. It's very New Jersey. It's very Jersey.
Yeah,
but made a beeline over to me. Then you also proceed to tell me that Kellie Nalbandian was a GW comrade of mine.
GW. Yes.
And it's just funny to like even still see you and your cast and the bonds that people have. But like, what's that like for you? Because as I mentioned early on in this interview, like that's one of the most heartwarming things for me is that in your interview with Mike Bloom and otherwise, you mentioned like just wanting to leave with like this beautiful family. And it feels like you did.
It is. I really did. And it's a testament to like people complain about the new era casting of like everybody's there just for friends. And I'm like, fuck. Like, I mean, not really. I wanted to, but it's like also like put yourself in my head for a second. I already at that point kind of resigned to like, I don't even want to say not doing well, but I was not in that moment doing particularly well. And the only thing that I could think to like salvage is like, oh, I will maybe get beautiful friendships at the end of this. Whereas I think if you go to Survivor, please like don't do that. Like focus on winning the show. The friendships will be thereafter for you. I promise you that people will seem mad at you at the beginning and then you'll have a great summer and then they'll be mad at you for a couple weeks in October and then it'll be fine again. You should not have the mindset that I have. However, I was very much of the belief of like, this is, I can't believe that I have a cast of people that are randomly assembled to battle the elements in each other. Like, how did I get lucky enough to be surrounded by really like 17 of the best people in the world? Like genuinely. I mean, they are so great. We have no duds. And some groups have duds.
Now, I just want you to be messy. I'm like, name names, Brandon. Let's just go for it.
This is Pod Friends.
I know it really isn't that kind of podcast. But actually, speaking of which, I just decided, like, thinking of your cast, I want to like play a little. We'll call it a game, an informal game. It's just superlatives. I'm curious who comes to mind as I ask about various superlatives. Are you ready, Brandon Donlon? Have you ever not been ready for anything?
Debatable.
Anyway,
but
we'll keep going.
We'll keep B-roll it. Isn't there B-roll for this?
We'll beeline. Put the beeline.
Put the beeline in. Yeah, I'm ready for that game.
Okay. Most likely to accidentally become a meme.
I would
Brandon
say,
Donlon.
I mean, present company excluded. I would say Hannah Rose. I think is Hannah Rose really memed herself, and she would do it again.
Okay. Most likely to secretly read Reddit.
Secretly is interesting. Secretly, like I think that a lot of the folks on my I'm glad this isn't like the Gordon Holmes one word.
No.
I think a lot of my folks openly read Reddit. So I would be the most surprised if, I don't know, Julie was reading Reddit. Like Julie can access Reddit, but I don't think she wants to or cares. So if she was secretly reading it, I'd be like, oh my God, are you really serious?
That makes sense. Most likely to survive a zombie apocalypse.
I also, and I'm not copping out, I do think Julie survives a zombie apocalypse more than any of us.
Most likely, by the way, I have to just say, like, something that lives rent-free in my head, Julie related, but also related to your cast. It's like, I don't know if it was Halloween or what was going on, but you all were dressed up as birds, and then Julie was Larry Bird, and I'll never forget that. Anyway, not related to Julie. Oh, and it might be most likely to send a "you up" text at 2 a.m.
Please hold. I have paper in front of me. I wish I was writing these the whole time. Final answer.
Okay, yeah, you have to watch the YouTube. Okay, I wasn't sure if you're going to say that out loud. Caleb is the answer.
I'm like, brother, I'm in bed. I'm watching SNL.
Hey, it's all good.
Not in a real.
Yeah, I'm sure. Most likely to start a cult?
Kendra.
Mm.
Kendra could start a cult. Kendra has.
She might have one right now.
She's got
I
this
would
one.
also ask about like most likely to become a wellness influencer, but I feel like Kendra is also.
Yeah, I
also
think that and what's great about her is that she's less in on the influencer and more on the like I think you see wellness
Yeah.
influencers pop up that are there for the clout of it all, and nobody that I know just genuinely wants to make people feel good around them than she does. She has that more than anybody in the world.
Most likely to accidentally spoil your season of Survivor.
Hannah Rose did do that. Hannah Rose was on Goodreads during Survivor 45 during the post jury phase. I think that was it. I think that would be. I don't know who else would accidentally do. We don't have anybody who's doing that. Sorry, say that again.
No, I said that's not much of a spoiler. It's just a little bit. Most likely to, let me see, most likely to get cast on another reality show.
Oh, I
there are
think
a lot of options there.
Everybody. I mean, Kellie just did. Spoiler alert. I won't say what it is, but you can go look.
Yes.
I think Kellie could have another Survivor run. I think Caleb could have another Survivor run. I think Sabaya could have another Survivor run. I think Drew could have another Survivor run. But I think that I think all of us, like whatever anybody wants to do, they can get on whatever they want, which is a cop-out answer, but it's the truth. I think Jake could have another Survivor run. And I'm just going through the list in my head, but yeah, I think most people, if they want it, they can do it.
Damn. Let me ask one more. Or maybe a few more. We'll just see where it ends. Most likely to get into most likely to start a podcast, to become a podcaster on RHAP, not you included.
That's not me?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I think people would be really excited if Drew were to do that. I think Drew is probably the best new era podcaster. I think Drew is the best podcast new era guest, and I think Sam Phelan's probably the best new era host. So maybe they'll do something. Wouldn't that be magical?
Maybe. Most likely to flirt for information.
I've seen a lot of people on my crew do this, so I will plead the fifth on that one. I'll throw Caleb as my safety, but I'll plead the fifth on that one.
I could keep going. I could just keep going, but I have to stop here. This is because what came to mind for me is we talked about who'd become a podcaster, and I know it was like a podcast series. It had its moment, but I won't forget Kellie and Michelle just like podcasting from bed. Like I never
really
would have the gall. I never had the
Magical.
gall. You as the producer too.
Sure. What a great time in history. That's
oh my gosh, you're writing something down.
I'm excited. I was crossing the gap. That's very cool. It's like the room where it happened. That's what they call that hotel room that we filmed that at.
Oh my gosh.
In somewhere in the West Village. But magical. Really, really magical.
Oh my gosh. Look, this is so just because we're full of so much love. I have to ask you, like any other like love shout outs that you want to send specifically to like your cast or other players you met along the way. We'll get to Rob and
I don't know. I think that I feel like I started this podcast in a place that is painful and is not the way that I think I present outwardly when you, listener, are listening to me ever. Like, I don't think it's just not stuff I talk about. And it's stuff that is particularly sad. And there are, of course, days where I don't want to do anything, much less like talk about it or think about it. But what I will say is there was no better time for me to have done this, to be surrounded by the people that I'm with, whether it's in my group or the bordering groups outside of it. Is like, I just said this to Devin, my girlfriend, who I gestured to the other room, and she's not even home. But I said that I hope it's like evident for people, like how much fun I'm having all the time. Like I I have a world of fun being able to do any of the stuff that I get to do. And there are, of course, hard parts of it that are tied to this couple day long experience that I had 3 years ago, and those will fade. And so will all of these good memories. And there are good memories that come with that also.
Yeah.
Regardless, I have so much fun, and that is not a testament to the time I did this or the what have you. It's just that the people that I've been able to hang with have been just the best in the world. So that's everybody. I'm thrilled to know everybody in my little circle.
I have to ask, like, again, back to one more superlative. Like, who from Survivor 45 do you think would make the best, like, RHAP employee?
Oh, that's funny. I mean, that's funny. I would defer to like I've seen the spreadsheet game from my dear Kellie Nalbandian. Like Kellie can keep a spreadsheet. It's very organized. I could see that. I mean, Brando's also very organized. I think that I would hire any of. I think there's nobody that I wouldn't hire. You know what I mean?
What a reference!
Nobody wants to bring. Nobody wants to hire 17 of their buddies, but I'd hire all.
I'm gonna clip that and then send it to each of them just in case they're applying for a job somewhere. But I have to ask you because I didn't ask this. What is your day to day with RHAP as the creative lead? Like, what do you actually do? Speaking of things that people don't see, because they obviously see you on the podcasts and hear about what you're up to, but what are you actually doing?
That's a great question. I do, I guess, from the top down is like when Rob can't be somewhere. I have been very fortunate that I've kind of been slotted into like the substitute teacher spot, which I'm really thrilled about. I mean, that's like the coolest thing in the world as a listener of this product for.
Yeah, you do have big substitute energy.
Yeah, and like I'm not enforcing anything, but we're gonna have fun. I really like that. That's one. I do all of the social media. I do all of the clipping of the podcasts. I'm in the background of many of the podcasts, producing it, which means just getting the collateral together to be presented on said podcast. I book a lot of the guests, and that's split between some other folks. But like these new folks that we've gotten to podcast this season, like comedians and people from the internet and what have you, like that is a joint effort between me, who's reaching out, and Alex, who works with us, who is a comedian in LA and who has some connections to get us some folks that watch the show. So I'm doing a lot of the creative work behind the scenes. And that's pretty much my whole last couple 16, 17 months.
Wow. Well, look, you've been in it. You've been in RHAP. You've been part of RHAP really from the beginning. You've been there.
Weirdly,
you've been around.
Yes.
But you're working in it, and you've also you've had all of the experiences, whether it's the listener, as a fan, again, like player, but then now being a guest before you were working for RHAP, podcasting, working behind the scenes. Like, what does being part of RHAP, working with Rob, all this mean to you?
It's real. I mean, if there's one thing that gives me peace about my prior situation that we talked about, which again is not necessarily always at the forefront of my mind, but we're talking on a day where it has been. And if we did this, 8 months from then, it might not have come up as much. Or if we do this 8 months from now, it might not come up as much.
Yeah.
But I have the best life in the world. Who has who gets to do this stuff that I get to do? And it's, I do hear from people. And again, I don't like a compliment. I don't respond well to a compliment. But I have a lot of people who come into these live shows that are like, you have such a great job. Like, who has a cooler job? And I feel bad because they're right. It's not like I can be like, oh my God, whatever. Like, it's true. I cannot believe I got lucky enough to be involved with this thing. And this thing accompanied my love of Survivor for so long. I mean, I'm listening to, I didn't know what a podcast was when I downloaded the first podcast of Rob's in 2010. I went to every live show that I was old enough to drive to between Survivor Worlds Apart and when I leave to go play Survivor 45. I mean, I've been here. When I did the Big Brother casting process in 2019, I think I sent Rob an email and then we talked on the phone. about like
Mm-hmm.
potentially going on Big Brother. When I was going to go on Survivor 45, I texted him. I said, I think I might do this. Before, we've never had a conversation. We've seen each other at these live shows. He was always the kindest in the world to me.
Yeah.
And to now have that be the person that I work for is like, it's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, the thing that I've also reflected on in written form that'll, stay with me in my locked diary
In the notes.
is I think a lot of folks that do Survivor, no matter where you place, experience some level of jealousy. And it's jealousy of the person who placed higher than you, or the person who has more Instagram followers than you, or the person who gets more whatever. Like these tangible or intangible bullshit things that like mean nothing. But it for you who's living it feels like the end of the world. And I've experienced my fair share of that jealousy. And watching just in this past year, Rob do the traders and the fanfare that comes with that pre and post and during and all the experiences that have happened for him, like it makes feeling jealous for everybody so worth it. That like to see somebody that you respect and love and admire and look up to so much get anything feels 1,000 times better than the bad feeling to see somebody that you're on getting something, if that makes sense. Like I'd rather feel that thing every day for the rest of my life for Rob to have had the experience that he got to have, because nobody in the world, I get weird about like the concept of deserving it, right? Like nobody deserves anything. Like I have a very complicated, like I get very peeved when I see people with the I should have gotten blank or I deserve to blank. Like nobody deserves anything. But Rob does. Rob, like if there's any exception in the world that we exist in, the person who is responsible for, now babies, like real people's children that have been born because of this, and people who've been
other
married
people's
because of
babies
this,
as well
and
as his
other
own.
people and his children. He has done so much more than what I think, anybody in this world could have done. And the way that Bryce, paved the way for me to be able to do stuff like this, Rob paved the way for Bryce to do what Bryce did in some weird way. You know what I mean? Not all the way, but in like Rob gave or had a platform available for Bryce. It's a really cool thing that I get to be a part of. So I'm so thrilled.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and at the same time, like, and speaking about Bryce with this, like, he was ready. It's like there's the saying of like preparedness meets opportunity. Like Rob had the opportunity, but like Bryce was prepared, and so are you on all of the ways. Because one thing I love about a Pod Friends interview is I will go back and I will watch so many different things. Like I watched you beating Rob's ass, his ass. I'm trying to do a Jonathan Penner. It's not good enough. But I saw you beating his ass on This Week in Survivor History with Jordan Kalish. But even just like Rob's joy watching that back in the moment, or like looking at other moments where, you've been on with Rob, like you could see he's loved it and is enjoying it. And I know he thinks so highly of you too. So I'm sure all that means the world. And we're thankful to have you. Like, maybe you're bad. I hope that you get better at like accepting compliments though. Cause it's like, I'm someone who used to really struggle with that. And I think I still do. But the thing that kind of went through my brain one time, and I credit like one specific friend, Ariella, who's a Survivor fan. Shout out to Ariella. Probably not listening, maybe listening. I don't know.
Ariella,
but like she is someone who said like, who gave me all these amazing compliments. I always used to like deflect them back onto her. And then I realized at some point, I'm like, oh shit, like if I respect her, like her own opinion or assessment of things, like I need to stop downplaying Ariella's thoughts on how great I am, because I believe everything else she says, right? And so, it's hard to digest those things, but I also will say, like for me personally, the RHAP community has been really great at helping me say like, thank you for that, and like taking it in and like trying to believe it. But it's a journey. But I feel like your journey is just going up. You're going up.
Yeah, I feel like I'm talking so much about myself, but I guess that's the
whole point.
I said to Devin in a different conversation, just talking about our future, is like, I've never been more excited for the next year or 2 years of what happens to me or what's going to happen to me, just because the best opportunities haven't happened yet. You know what I mean? Like I have had incredible opportunities, and they will further themselves in the bubbles in which they live. But I can't wait to just see what happens that I have no concept of yet. Because that's just how life happens. And I think there's a switch at some point for me where the future is a worry rather than like an opportunity. And I feel like I'm now in the world where the future would scare me because like, oh my God, what am I going to do then? Whatever. But now it's like, you would hope that you figure it out when you get there. And if you don't, you have all the time in the world to make something work. So I'm really, really excited about the future.
I mean, and you're also, and this is the thing that I was just thinking about a few weeks ago between Rob's book tour launch in DC and then the New York live show. But sometimes it's really hard for me to like process and appreciate how amazing it is to even just be like in proximity to Rob, who's someone who's made so many of his dreams come true and so many of the things that he's wanted to do and things that he could never even imagine. I have to ask you, Brandon Donlon, like what are some of the things that you want to accomplish? Like put it out there into the universe. People
that's a great question.
Want to know. The people being me, I guess, want to know.
Sure.
Yeah.
I really don't. And that's, I think, part like the unknown quantity for me is that I am so down for anything. Like I do I think there's a path forward of me competing on another television show? Like I would love to. I don't know if that's the path. Would I love to like further my hosting and have my own thing where I talk? Like, is that the path? I would love it, but I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what that thing is, but I'm really excited to see what I feel like I'm prepared to do a lot, and I can't wait for the opportunity to present itself. I'll use your preparedness versus opportunity.
There we go.
I can't wait to further prepare myself for whatever comes next. And I'm really excited about whatever that thing is. And there's nothing right now. I have nothing. But I know that something will come. It always does. You know what I mean? In my experience, it always does. So I'm excited to see what that is.
Damn, this would be the perfect time for my phone to ring and then Mr. Beast to be on the other end.
We need you. We need you for
Jimmy needs you. He needs you. No, it's exciting. I'm pumped, and there's so much ahead. I'll have you back on Pod Friends one day.
Yeah,
when you're famous. When you're more famous, I should say.
Please qualify that. Please keep my level of fame right now.
I mean, you do have a wiki page. Technically,
no, I do not.
I mean, not a Wikipedia, but Survivor Wiki.
Oh my God! What I give for a Wikipedia page.
I mean,
they have to give
if someone makes your Wikipedia page or attempts to, just let me know.
I had a professor in college who week one of our intro to film. This is freshman year. This is week one. He's like, lesson 1: do not make yourself a Wikipedia page. And we're all like, we haven't learned anything. Like it's our first film class. Why is that the first lesson? He said, and this is a filmmaker. He's like, I made one for myself. My identity's been stolen. I have no money. Like he's like, I'm having to work to get money back. And we are in his class in the throes of him getting his identity and his money back. So his first lesson was, do not put yourself on Wikipedia.
That's not Wikipedia related.
Yeah. But I think he wanted to have some gravitas to his name as a filmmaker. So he made himself the Wikipedia, which is what I think it sounded like. And then thus getting his identity stolen by, I guess, somebody who just like needed his birthday. I don't know. My birthday's Googleable. Like, I don't know what's stopping anybody from stealing my identity, but don't steal my identity.
I mean,
and don't make me a Wikipedia page. That's to the list.
Two things. One is that I think if someone's this deep in, they're probably not going to steal your identity. They probably would have enough info to steal your identity already.
Yeah, they know where I went to high school. Remember that?
They know where you went
to
high
like an hour
school.
ago.
I mean, yeah, well, there was a merger.
It was
They can't
merging,
find it.
sure. Yeah, you don't know
But
which high school I went to when I did the security questions on my
Oh.
apps, you know what I mean?
What's your security answer? Oh, it's your high school. Wait a minute.
Sometimes. I mean, who knows? It's like whatever prompt they give you, you know?
Oh,
Normally, it's your
okay.
first concert. That's what a lot of the places
Oh,
you sign
no.
up for,
We need to stop talking about identities being stolen. I feel like that calls for please don't do that to me either.
Mhm.
But secondly, someone here better make you a Wikipedia page. Brandon, speaking of published materials, I have to ask you a question I ask all of the guests, every guest, at the end of the podcast. And we know Rob has the book, The Tribe and I Have Spoken. But if your life were a book or a documentary, Brandon Donlon, what would the title be and why?
Sure. And I should have thought of this because I've listened to many of these and I knew this was going to happen.
You're the creative lead.
I'm the creative lead.
This high pressure. I believe in you, though.
I'm going to talk through. Like,
Yes.
I think that what I represent for the people who are in my orbit, I think I am
representation. Yes,
and that's not the what I'm going to speak on is representation. I do think there's like a relatability factor to me, and I think about holding up. I think holding up a mirror to me is like there's parts of me in you, whether you feel the best that you've ever felt or not so much. I think there's something about me that resonates with a wide array, and I like the mirror, but I'm kind of like behind the mirror, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I think my book is. I think I'm going to go with Behind the Mirror. It'll be my book, the Brandon Donlon.
That's such a great title, and I don't know if I've ever heard of a book named Behind. I'm literally looking over at Taryn's book. Like,
when I started that,
I had it right here.
Yeah, I wish mine was mine's too far away, and I'm not wearing pants.
Maybe in front of the mirror.
In front of the mirror. I didn't have a plan when I started that, and then it just ended up going there. I would have had a genuine answer, but then I took too long.
This is me holding up Taryn's book. I don't know how to Photoshop it in, but I'm holding it up right now.
We know people
that
can do that. But I'm really, really touched that anybody would make it this far into listening to me speak. And thank you so much for. I really don't like. I cannot stress enough. I do not like talking about myself. I know from this podcast it maybe sounds like I do. Like.
Well, no.
The hard parts of me I don't like to talk about, which I really
It doesn't. I think everyone likes to share or be able to be themselves, right? But it also could be really uncomfortable talking about yourself. So I get it, you know? And I appreciate you sharing and being you, you know?
But being me is enforced by you. And I think that you are uniquely good at, like, I wouldn't have talked about some of the things that I talk about with just, somebody who wanted me to get into how I feel about particular things. I think that's like, and I looked at, and I've listened to many of these, but I looked just today of who has done this. And you really run the gamut of the folks from our orbit. And it's because people trust you to structure their story well. And that's not,
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And, it's like, I'm just so glad that I get to do it. And I'm glad that we get to be in this universe together. And what's gonna be so strange is like 5 years from now, when I still look the same, when you only look a little bit older.
Sure.
And when we're just here and people are like, "What? How long have you been around RHAP?" And like for you, it'll be a couple decades by that point, 10 years, five, wait, no, that's not how math works.
No,
6 years of working with 6 to 7 years.
I'll have a monocle, perhaps. It'll be
maybe I'll have a monocle, and I'll be like, remember back in the day when Jeff Probst was still hosting Survivor? Like that'll be us. So it's a good time. But I'm thankful that we get to do this and have people in. Any like closing words? I want to give you the floor to wrap it up. If you want to wrap, you can. Shannon Gus would do it.
She's the only person that raps in this podcast. I have had a world of fun, and I hope that you also have had fun during this podcast, listening to it. Those are bad final words. I meant to say that if you have a gut feeling or you have a heart feeling or something like failing it sucks. And I've done it, and it's streamable on Paramount Plus for the low price of $13.99. But there's a lot waiting for you on the other side of any kind of failure. And failure is what you make of it. So if you fail and then you don't want to get back up, that's your prerogative. But getting back up and getting to do all the cool stuff that I know that you can do is great, because I know I can do it, and I've been very lucky to be able to show you some of that. So thank you, and good night.
Thank you so much, Brandon, for the laughs, for the love, for the vulnerability, the honesty, the realness. Everyone, reach out to Brandon and show him some love. I know this episode was about that, was about giving Brandon his flowers, but I don't think it's ever a bad time to give people their flowers, especially in today's world, especially with everything that's going on. And thank you all for all the flowers and all the love that you give me along the way. If anything, I want to make sure to plug The Pride Has Spoken and wish you all a happy Pride. Check that out wherever you get your podcasts with me, Grace Leader, and Dr. Evie Jagoda. And also just to thank the Rob as a Podcast team behind the scenes. You're all the best. Thrilled for more to come over the next month or so of this Pod Friends journey. And last but not least, I want to thank you for being a Pod Friend. And now, to close the episode, let's hear some voicemails from MJC, Joelle, and WhutUpTim.
Hey, it's me, one-timers club member of RHAP, MJC. And here's my favorite bit of Brandon lore. It's the summer of right before season 45, and having a conversation with our mutual friend, TikTok Nicole, where I am talking about how, while I'm excited for you, I kind of missed the boat with the buzz just because I didn't know you. And she was insistent that I did. Now, since this guy did not. And so her trump card was, well, he knows who you are. So there's that. Here's what I now know about Brandon in the years since. He's very kind. He's a very humble man. He is extremely funny, a great creator. He's just such a wonderful representative of the show and the community that we all love. I think the world of you, Brandon. I just think you're really, really great. And we are very lucky that you share your shine with us, and you're the man.
Okay, this is take 2 because he tried to destroy the last one, and I don't know if it got sent. But my appreciation for Brandon Donlon comes directly from my cat, who's probably not going to be in this one because now he's running around my apartment. But if Brandon comes on a podcast, I'm not allowed to listen to it until I get home. He has the power of calming down my cat and turning him into a sweet little angel boy that likes to nap. I don't know what it is about Brandon's voice, but my cat is absolutely obsessed, and he listens to a lot of podcasts. His mom loves to listen to them. But something about Brandon. But I hope to one day meet him at a patron event. I find him absolutely hysterical. And I just love it when he's on a podcast. I think he has such a great sense of humor and such a talent, and I almost got reeled out there. It's 2 a.m. here, so I can't be that loud. But Brandon, we appreciate you.
What up, Brandon? What up, Tim here? I just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate everything you've done for the RHAP community. I'd like to call it professional because you do a good job, but everybody knows you're not a very professional person, just extremely entertaining. Glad to have you. Love that we have met. My biggest thing that I can thank you for is being my wingman, introducing me and letting me meet Demi Burnett. We chat regularly. Just want to thank you for all that. Thank you for everything you do. Y'all take it easy. Love you, Brandon. Bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.